everything we do and everything we are and everything we will become because of our attitude. We need ideals. It's interesting to me when I write about education, as I do so often, the word vocation hardly ever gets mentioned anymore. When I was in teacher training, I only did for an hour. I don't have a degree. I didn't go to university. I used to look at all these books that we were told to study, and I couldn't find the word love anywhere in any educational book. So that sort of hurt me. I thought, as a loving creature, which I feel I mostly am. Can I give an illustration? Again, coming here by bus this morning, I was thinking, what's an anecdote that illustrates this? And I thought, yes, as a young man, as an idealist, I was often very angry. And as I became more aware, I thought anger isn't useful, it's a destructive energy, it leads to war, back to the pacifism thing again. That's not the journey. And then I thought, how can I liberate it through a loving attitude? And I thought, I know, anger is only inverted idealism. That's quite a mouthful. I saw you little puzzle on your face then, Philip. But perhaps it does illustrate the fact that it's passion. And the passion can go to the negative side or it can go to the positive side. But it's still passion. It's still the same energy, in the same way as electricity can kill you or illuminate you. So that liberated me from, I'll enjoy being angry. And of course then you get less angry and more joyful, which is, of course, lovely, very health-giving too. Oh yes, so litter, that's what I meant to say earlier about litter. It used to anger me so much about people dropping litter, and it's mostly school children who do it. And in schools, part of the punishment used to be litter duty. You want to go around and pick up the litter. I mean, I just thought at this very moment that maybe is why when they're not being watched by teachers, I'm going to throw it down, I've just realised the way the perverseness often kicks in. However, when I see people throwing litter out of a car or whatever, if the car's not going too fast, let alone as I saw a child only yesterday drop a plastic bottle and kick it, and I thought, what's the loving thing to do? The answer? Pick it up without comment, unconditionally. What's the unloving thing to do? Say, oi you've dropped something. And what they would pick up then was the admonishment. And therefore that would make them possibly more defiant. Because what's fascinating about human behaviour is we all need power. And the power comes from the feeling of being special. And in education system, special needs means that there's something wrong with you. How daft is that? Everyone's special. So how do you get a system? If you just want to control within the parameters that you decide are right for you without consultation, it's an impossible task. This is why education isn't working. It will be more difficult and challenging to have it based on individual choices, but something like Summerhill, the school has been in England. I went to a free school recently, or new school they call it, in Lewes in the south of England, and to see the kids there incredibly joyful. And they've applied to become a free school. I gave them a copy of my book. They were very grateful. And the head teacher said, I'm so sorry I was ill that day. She had a stomach bug. It wasn't stress, it was a stomach bug. Blamed the bug. So I didn't see her. I saw the lady in charge of the bursar, the lady in charge of the, and she was so proud to show me around the school. Well, I knew how it felt like, because when I was teaching philosophy, it was a Saturday school for 10 years. shining eyes and busy minds. The teacher that's employed me for all those years said, I never take on a teacher that doesn't have a sparkle in their eye. And I thought, yeah, I've got a sparkle for you, and for them, and for everyone. Yeah.
Good. Did you ever get the light back in the eyes of the 14-year-olds?
What a good question. One thing about being unjudgmental is watching without letting people be what they choose to be. Yes, nice anecdote. Thank you. Cue for song. I attracted people who were innovative because it's the mirror image thing. And there was one lad called Lee who illustrated my maths book. I discovered that he hated maths, but he was excited by my energy, my enthusiasm. He was also going to get an A in drama. He was also a very good actor and a good playwright at his level, at his age, and an innovator. And did lovely cartoons, funny cartoons. So I said, oh, please illustrate my book. And he did. And it was only later he told me, but I hate maths. But he then said, that made me really see how I could enjoy maths. So that happened. Now, here's quite an amusing anecdote. Many years later, because I've been retired for nearly 20 years now from teaching, he found me on internet, as it were, and emailed me, and I answered, and his answer to me, oh, thank God you're still alive. And I thought, oh, bless him. And then some years later, he emailed me again, and he said, I've always remembered one conversation we had. Now, this for me is really love-centered. He said, you told me that there is a love song to God, and that it is the sound of hue, the first syllable of the word human. Now, normally as a teacher, you don't say these things to youngsters, unless your heart tells you there's some unfinished business between people. And it's based on the love of wisdom. And he'd remembered that. And he said, I've just had my first son, and I'm calling him Hugh.
Very nice.
Another little anecdote, my first book on philosophy or spirituality was called Soul-Centered Education. And I was sitting in a bus, and this little old Irish lady came and sat beside me. And I could feel, I'm very sensitive to vibrations, and I could sense that she was sensing me and tuning into me. And I again, like with animal training, you don't impose. You wait for them to come to you like a wild animal. Not that she was a wild lady, she was a sweet little Irish lady. And she said, excuse me, but do you love God? I blossomed, and I said, that's my favourite subject. And she said, I thought so. So we got talking, and I had a copy of my book with me, and she bought it. And this is a bit of a boast, but it is illustrating something about touching people and opening them. She went away. I mean, I didn't know who she was or whatever. I didn't get her name or anything like that. But obviously I had the details in the book. And let's say 6 months later, the phone went at 12:20 at night. And she said, oh, thank you for the book. It's so lovely to read. And I thought, how many other authors in the world get phoned up by a total stranger at 12:30, nearly 12:30 at night, and being said, thank you for writing a book.
Gosh.
Yeah. That's what I felt. Gosh.